Hi, this is Adekyn again with part two of our Granary of Rome walkthrough. And as you recall, at the end of, hopefully you recall from having seen the first part of this walkthrough, that we were getting ready for patricians. So we're going to do that now, and we're going to do it with a little double whammy where we're going to do an inn and a tavern with the and staff them with patricians. That way, we boost our food and entertainment ratings, and get our patricians built, and get more production out of the inn and the tavern than we would if we used equites. So anytime you can use a higher class person to staff a building, go for it if it's practical. So we're going to staff those with patricians and have high ratings for entertainment and food. I did make a goof. I have to confess. I started building those patricians before I built my tailor to make clothing. In the first part of this walkthrough, we had built our flax farm, so we had linen, but we didn't have any clothing. And that first guy that popped so early, he went without clothing for a while. And as you can see, that if you saw it flash by, we were -2 on clothing. So we got an issue there. So he's going to be unhappy at some point. We're going to pay for that, and we'll show you how to fix that. And you can click on these guys. If you click on a building, like for example a patrician, if you just click on a single patrician, it shows you down at the bottom all the things that are needed to maintain all the patricians in your city. And that's a great way to see if you're doing okay. And see, we've got plenty of everything now, but we didn't for a while. So he moved out on us. So so I do my little dance with the cursor. I couldn't quite get it right, and buy him back. So now he came back. We had to click a button and pay some denarii to get him to come back to us. But now he's back, and he's happy because he's got everything he needs. He's got clothing, olive oil, food, goods, religion, the whole bit. And you basically kind of look at it. If you look at it, everything is piles upon the other. So the plebe needs are carry over to the equites, plus the equites need entertainment, and the equite needs carry over to the patricians, plus the patricians need religion to be happy. So, and those main things, and you can kind of think of it as the main things: food for the insulae, and entertainment for the equites, and religion for the patricians. But they really need, it really does pile up, and the patricians need all that stuff. They're very needy people. So I'm just trying to balance out and get all my housing right. As I said, I got that messed up and got a balance. So I'm finding that I need one more patrician here the way I did it, and that's fine. We'll staff this. We'll upgrade this temple to Mercury to a patrician. And by the way, when you have something like this, when you see those flags, you don't want to wait. You want to fix it right away if you can, because that temple is now degrading because it doesn't have anybody in it. If you leave it long enough, it'll catch on fire because it will just go into waste. It's not being maintained if there's nobody working in it. So you want to fix it. You want to look for those flags. In fact, you want to pop up and take the high view and see where those flags are. And here you can see I'm checking my objectives. I'm very conscious of the objectives. I tend to be focused on those, and I'm making sure I'm doing okay. And now that we've got our victory column, we can go ahead and keep training our troops. I'm going to pop a military camp down there so that they can train faster, because all these missions kind of hit that point where you're sort of, well, you're done. We've basically got it done now, and we're just cleaning up and making sure everything's in good shape. And if you wanted to, if you were a big builder and just loved to build, you wanted to take advantage of the fact that you're in good shape, you could go ahead and start another community or start building. We actually had the ability here, if we wanted to, we could pop the Colosseum in there between those two. That would have been a nice thing to do. We actually have enough marble and other goods to make that work, but I didn't choose to do it. But that would have been a good thing to do. And so you could start building a couple of your monuments. Now our research, we've gone quickly. We've had a good fast build here, so we've actually outstripped our research, and so we're not ready to build too many of the nice buildings like the ones like you can see here. We've got a lot of research to go yet on our nicer buildings for the patricians. So we're not going to but we're going to finish this mission before we have a chance to build all those, unless we really delay things, and we don't want to do that. Let's just go ahead and get it finished. So we will have I think we're going to have time to do a library, so we're going to build a library right up here. And see, I'm just checking all my staffing, and I noticed that after I did all my dancing, I got it messed up, and I ended up with a patrician out there unemployed, but he was still happy because his ratings were high enough. Basically, if you're employed, you'll accept a lower rating. If you're unemployed, you've got to have pretty good food, entertainment, religion in order to stick around. So he was happy, but we got him on the tax office, and now we're going to build another tailor out there for that one equite that got left out of the mix when we moved the tax office to a patrician. So now this part up here was actually a bit of a goof on my part. I was just trying to clean up and give all the insulae some employment. At the beginning of a mission, there's nothing wrong with having some unemployment. In fact, I actually think it's probably a good idea to overbuild your insula a little bit, because you want to build those goods. You can use those goods for trade to make money. You can use those goods for your equites and your patricians. You need the goods, and it's okay to have some unemployment. In fact, for insula, as long as they're well fed, they can have unemployment up to like 55%. I mean, or employment as low as 55% in order to stick around. You don't want to really get down with that number, because you can certainly find something for these folks to do. But at any rate, a little unemployment's not a bad thing. That's kind of the message here. And you also notice, sorry, I just built that library out away, kind of on the outside of the patricians, and I think of building in three rings. You have an inner ring of the core buildings that do food, entertainment, religion. Then you have a second ring wrapped around it, which consists of your housing. And then there can be a third ring outside of that, which is staffed by that inner ring of housing for buildings that affect the entire map, like hospital, Philosopher's Academy, library, things like that. So we can just think of the three rings, and it's easy to build out from the center with your core buildings, then your housing, then your outer ring. And there's certainly other ways to do it that work just fine, but that's the general concept I usually follow when I'm laying out a city or thinking about a city. And a lot of these cities, of course, I don't want to I like to plan, I like strategy, but I don't want to sit there and think about every square inch of where I'm going to put a building. I like to just put it where it looks nice and makes sense to me. And by following that philosophy, things tend to work out rather nicely, and everything goes. So now I'm just finishing off. I'm trying to get my flower production up so that we can go ahead and finish off the mission, and we'll end up winning. There we go. Ta-da! A pretty good build. Could have been a little better, but hopefully you got something out of this, and I will go work on another one.